Okay, welcome back, everyone. Welcome to our daily live where we are reclaiming being the supreme authority of your reality. We are taking the law of assumption and taking the power away from the outer world, reclaiming it, using the powers of decree to absolutely not only create your wish fulfilled, but generate it consistently all the time. And ideally, right, as we do this consistently, like we're doing every day. And if you're new here, be sure to check out the past videos where we've been doing this workshop and we've been building together, right? As we do this every single day, we get in the pattern that was once unconscious, where we were giving our power away, we are taking it back. We're stripping it from the outer world and we are reclaiming it to be whatever it is that you desire it to be. A huge thing that we are doing that I have found honestly so challenging, but obviously fruitful, is we are uncovering all the places that we were unconsciously taught to give up our power, to be observers of our reality, to just be perceivers, to be reactors, to essentially feel we have no real will, right? But with law of assumption, if you are into the works of like Neville Goddard or other teachers, your will essentially is the only will. Now, it doesn't feel that way when, again, we have an upbringing where we were taught our will was out there and we had to constantly submit to an outer will, second causes to get our needs met. But as we take this time to highlight where that is and take it back, you start to feel your core come back together. Manifesting goes from being this like head thing and inner conversations and affirmations and all that to a completely embodied experience. And what I find is the more I really come into the power of decreeing, the cadence of my inner speech is changing. Something I want to take note of today as we go deeper into the workshop, and we will continue to take what we did yesterday with our senses, right? Where our senses, we are now decreeing and commanding that our senses, instead of just sitting back and like passively observing, they are generating. We've been basically rewiring and reconstructing our eyes, our ears, our mouth, our taste, our touch, all the senses to actually create, to generate, not be a passive observer of a mirror of a reality. And then as we do this, I'm finding the mirror, which still felt pretty solid and hard and unchanging, becomes more fluid. Now it's becoming an energy that really does feel like my imagination, my consciousness pushed out, that my hands can actually mold, my eyes can actually form, right? My senses, my touch becomes this living being power where I'm not just touching like something solid that's unchangeable. It's like this something solid. My hands, it's all one thing. It's all malleable. It's all moldable, right? And basically, as our reality becomes more malleable and more changeable, and it softens up because our decrees harden. That's where our decrees, our assumptions harden into fact. And even the most outstanding old assumptions of an outer world that was against you, or others that are separate from your will, or a past that dictates your future, right? Because we know in law of assumption, none of that's true. It's all in the now. It's all moldable. It's all malleable. It's all actually coming from you. It's not outside of you coming at you. It's from you. Or if you want to see it as coming at you, it's you and your imagination being molded by you in human form, right? There's reciprocity. So we take these second circumstances that felt outside of us, like a second will, separate power, and we're really getting into a place, like I said, a cadence that changes from passivity. So I want you to notice the thing with passivity is you are always decreeing. It just might not be what you want. So if you notice the world around you right now, take a moment just to breathe in and breathe out. And I want you to tune into the thoughts in your head, even about watching this video. And I want you to see if you can locate the current inner conversation about this. Am I someone separate from you? Is this a reality that is coming at you and you're hoping to learn it, hoping to absorb it? I've noticed with my own passive inner dialogue, it's very like, I hope it works out and I hope I understand this, or let me try harder. And there's like a cute innocence to it. It's very much the inner child. However, with decreeing, and it also has the same influx and tone as when something is going like, oh, it never works. It never shows up. Maybe I'll try later. Maybe I'll just give up. The tone goes down. The thing with certainty and decreeing and the tones in our head and the cadence in our head, there's a very concrete, solidifying cadence to it of, oh, it's not working, of, oh, or it's very neutral. This bottle is hard, just is what it is. The temperature feels like this. I'm wearing this. It's very certain though. Like there's no room for question. Where if we're in hoping, if we're in wishing, if we're in this like passive observing, where again the inner child to me is stuck and frozen, they don't know the power of their decree. They weren't allowed to be powerful like that. They're going, well, maybe tomorrow, or maybe I'll like this will work, but maybe later, or I hope it's hopeful, it goes up. There's like again a very cute innocence, but we need our decrees and our certainty in the tones of our voice, even in the inner child, to be as solid as it's not working. No, it's always working. Nothing's changing. No, everything is changing. So even though it is a more positive frame of mind and the words are just as positive, it has the same solidness as whatever was going on before. And it's not that hopeful, open-ended, well, I hope it works out. It's up to me, it's working out. I hope these decrees work. No, they are always working. I hope it changes. It's changing. And this is where I've talked about this before. You can take the negative thoughts in your head that are like, well, it's not going to happen today. And here are my reasons. Here's my logic behind that. And nothing's actually changing. But maybe tomorrow. That's the same frame of mind of maybe tomorrow. Maybe it will be. Versus no, it's now. It's right now. What I do right now is changing everything. It's molding everything. My reality is shaping itself around me. Everything is changing because everything is me. And so you start to watch for the inner conversation, the inner dialogue, the inner conversation that goes unanswered of, will they call? Will they text? Is the money there? Can I pay it? Or it's never going to work. It's not happening, and whatever it is. To answer the question within, and with the exact same amount of like certainty as your doubt. No, the money's here. Everything's paid. Always getting the call. I'm always getting the text because what I'm doing in imagination right now is the real reality. This is what's actually happening. And again, we take the pretending idea out of it. We take the whole, what you do on the inside's just some like flight of fancy, right? No, that's how you create. This is your inner world tuning into, the fourth dimensional self, the larger parts of yourself, and we're fixing it into a 3-dimensional point of view, and we are fixing our ideas with certainty. I'm always wealthy. I'm always loved. I'm always adored. I'm always seen. I'm always heard. My decrees are always changing everything. My reality is always reacting to me. And so one more thing you can play with, you want to start noticing, when you are reacting to something out here happening, notice if the reaction is from a place of certainty. Of this is what's happening. It's not okay. I have to change all my reactions. I have to change all my manifestations, whatever it is. Right. When you're doing that, you're giving the outer world full certainty and you're the one changing. And we've talked about in the past, you don't leave your throne. You don't leave that core that we've been rebuilding. You don't leave the one will that is the only will. When you learn to stay solid in that, of like, I don't care what's happening out there. I can learn from it. I can revise it. But I know that is the reality that's changing, not me. I'm staying solid in my decrees. And there's going to be those moments where, yes, the little parts of us, the inner child in us, that was so, again, frozen, right? Unless they were taught these things. Of that one day, I hope, what if, when will life be a fairy tale? Now, I do believe life is meant to be absolutely as magical as the child in you knew it should be. We just need the adult in us to understand that, to command that now, and to make it happen, to command it into reality. And so decreeing is never a wish. It's never hoping. It's never praying. It's definitely not asking some external reality or some external God for permission. You give it to yourself. You answer your own questions. And I do find if you can separate when you're in doubt or despair or fear, recognize that it is the inner child in you. It's not you. It's a part of you. But answer their questions. Hear what they're upset about. Hear what they think is going to happen from their own pattern recognition where they were let down. That is the assumption right there that was done unconsciously that is coming up to revise it. And so we need the adult in us to have the capability to feel that emotion, to move through it with them, to attend to it as it is the most important thing. And to, with the certainty only an adult can give that cadence of, will it happen one day? Yes, it's happening now, little one. Is it really all going to work out? Yes, it is. It's already worked out. Here it is. And the adult in you knowing in your core, because again, if you tune into your core and you listen to anything about the law of assumption, the truth will always resonate with you. The truth will always resonate. And that's how we build our core, breathe into it, and we trust ourselves, right? Because if you are going to be the operant power of your reality, God of your reality, time to trust yourself completely. Don't put trust in the outer reality. That is transient. That will always change, right? But you have to trust. And whatever your wish fulfilled is, you have to, talk to the little one inside of you, give them that certainty. So they also can then, with imagination, command the senses to generate it, see it now, hear it now, feel it now, and get used to reality changing or molding in front of you. Getting back to that place where it was always possible and shifting to the place where that's what you and all parts of you are now doing completely. That's instant manifestation. So let's go back to our workshop to carry on. Again, working with what to do when you find yourself slipping, when you find different things are happening out there that feels like manipulation or guilt trip, whatever it is. Your only rule is to not leave your throne and to not slip. All right, let's go in.
Here's what I want you to remember, you say, your voice a purr that sends shivers down their spines. Every time you feel yourself slipping, every time you feel that doubt creeping in, you say this: I am the power, I am the command. I strip away all second causes and I stand in my truth. I do not chase, I do not beg, I do not fall. I rise, I command, I dominate. I am the queen of my reality, and the world obeys my will. They repeat it back to you. Their voice is strong, filled with the power that you've awakened within them. Again, you command, your voice sharp, leaving no room for doubt. I am the power. I am the command. I strip away all second causes, and I stand in my truth. I do not chase. I do not beg. I do not fall. I rise. I command. I dominate. I am the queen of my reality, and the world obeys my will.
Okay. What I want you to notice is as you listen to that, did you go ahead and also repeat it? Did you start to embody it? Or was there the habit of just listening to it without I'll listen to this again later, or I'll try it again later, or I just want to hear it right now? No judgment, right? This isn't about judging yourself. This is about lovingly confronting the part of you, again, that was taught to just observe reality, to just like memorize reality, right? Depending on your upbringing and schooling system, there was so much, obviously, like we listen and most people didn't listen, and then we memorized it and did and none of it really made sense, and everyone's a little different with that one. But at least in my reality, there was not the direction to embody it. That's why whenever I work with a client or in my courses, it's like, and even in these videos, I have to embody it myself. And everything I look to like create, if the person is not having the experience with me, it's like, what's the point? What's the point? Because let's be in the now. Let's integrate this right now. And so a great way to do this, we'll listen to it again. And I want you to imagine like your child on your lap with you. I want you to imagine you really feeling these words, speaking them within, speak them without. I want you to imagine your eyes generating what that looks like to you. If you are the power, what do your eyes generate? What do you taste? What do you hear? What do you smell? What do you feel? Have the younger version of you do the same thing. Let it be an embodied experience, an imaginal experience here and now. And again, with imagination, a law of assumption, we know that means like actually using our awakened imagination to bring it to life in this moment. It's not passive. It's not maybe one day. It's not to escape something. We are going to embody it right now. And when we get into a place of embodied living, in every moment, you're in your core, you're intentional. And we finally get rid of this habit that was never true to form of passiveness. You are not meant to be a passive being. You are here to create it, to generate it, to bring it into the world. So let's listen to it one more time and take a breath in and out. Be with your younger self or selves. Take a moment to command the eyes. We're going to generate this. The touch, the skin, like we're going to feel the power of this, the weight of this. Command your reality. You're going to mold with this right now. We're going to taste this. We're going to smell this. We're going to feel the weight of this. I'm going to be in my core. My core is going to activate this. Maybe there's color with this.
For doubt, I am the power. I am the command. I strip away all second causes, and I stand in my truth. I do not chase. I do not beg. I do not fall. I rise. I command. I dominate. I am the queen of my reality, and the world obeys my will. You nod, said.
So those words, if we are, again, getting our senses to actually create and not just passively absorb, we're done doing that. What is your symbol for being the power? When the words strip away the power from the outer reality, what do you see? What do you feel with that? If you're stripping it away and bringing it back into yourself, what does that look like? What does it taste like? What does it touch? What do you hear? Right? Same with your little one. If they're the power, if they're the command, if they are letting go of second causes and they're standing in their truth, what's the color? What do they hear? What do they touch? What do they smell? If they're no longer chasing, if they're not begging, they're not failing. Instead, they're going to rise, they're going to command, they're going to dominate. What are they dominating? What are they commanding? Do that for your younger self, do that for yourself. Give yourself the visual here and now, give yourself the breath of it. Give yourself symbols, right? There's lots of symbols with this. Give yourself colors. Give your reality, right, a visual, and then add in the other tones of it actually obeying you. What would that look like if your reality just obeyed you right now? If you stood in your truth, you obeyed, you commanded it. Instead of fighting back, instead of retaliating, and you'll notice those fears will come up and we revise them. But if it was just here to do what it is here to do, which is a neutral, malleable mirror that is here to obey, it was just obeying the old commands before, which, by the way, where I'm just a passive observer, do what you want with me type of thing. Now that we've changed that, or like I'm trying to change you and you're not changeable. Okay, no, you're malleable, you're listening to me, right? You're doing as I imagine. Then what does that look like? What does it feel like? What does it taste like? What's the touch? Get that imagination working again and stay in your core, stay in your truth. Breathe into it. All right, we'll finish up with this.
This is your world, you say, your voice a declaration, a promise. You are the boss, the master, the one in charge. And from this moment on, you live without fear, without doubt, without options. You live as the supreme power, the dominatrix of your reality, the one who commands and knows that the world will obey. Revised reactions to attempts of manipulation.
That will be for tomorrow. All right. See you all tomorrow. Let me know in the comments the visuals, what you're hearing, what you're seeing, what you're commanding.